Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to be breaking down my top 10 movies of 2023. So without further ado, let's go. Alrighty, so coming in at number 10, and that is Renfield. So I really enjoyed Renfield. I thought this was a really good version of Dracula that we have never seen before. And to be fair, I was really surprised that they casted Nicolas Cage as the portrayal of Dracula. I thought his version of Dracula was absolutely incredible. A different outlook onto this character, because I've actually been so used to the Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman that I thought I would give this version a go, and I gotta say I was very impressed with what I was watching in the cinema. And I also got to say, to see Dracula back on the big screen was just really cool, and seeing the gore, the action and everything was just really good to see. There were a few issues with the movie, but it actually didn't really bother me that much because I was more interested in seeing how Nicolas Cage was going to portray Dracula. And boy, did he put on a fantastic performance as Dracula. And to see Nicholas Hoult be casted as Renfield, I thought that was a really good casting. And I just really enjoyed this movie for what it was. And yeah, I definitely wanted this to be in my top 10 movies of 2023. So that is number 10, Renfield. Okay, so number 9, we have Scream 6. Yes, I absolutely enjoyed Scream 6 when I saw this on the first night of release. It was really good to see Ghostface terrorizing, but in a different location, of that being New York City in the subway. I really thought that was really cool. And to see all of them come back again from the previous movie was really cool. And it was good to see Ghostface come back again. And I really did like where this movie went in the sort of direction that it was taking us. And I gotta say, the kills in this movie were absolutely just brutal as hell. Like, it was a side of Ghostface that I've never seen before throughout the franchise. And it was really good to see how brutal Ghostface can be with his full capacity. And I really did enjoy that, and I really did enjoy this movie. And it was so good to see Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera reprise their roles again from the previous film. It was a really awesome film to watch on the big screen. And yeah, that is all I can really say about it. And I can't wait to see if we will get any more Scream movies down the line. I know Scream 7 is currently not looking so good, but you know, never say never. Alright, coming in at number 8, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Yes, this is the final film for the Guardians of the Galaxy. This movie was amazing. A true masterpiece, shall I say, in my personal opinion, from James Gunn. This was a really good send-off for our Guardians, and this movie had me bawling my eyes out. Yeah, I cried at quite a lot of the scenes in this movie because there were some really tough moments that you really had to get through when watching this movie, especially when it came to Rocket Raccoon's backstory. And yes, I think you can pretty much figure out where I'm going with this. But yeah, this movie had a lot of emotion to it. It had a lot of love. It had pretty much just it was a pure emotion movie, and I loved the action in this. It was so good to see so many awesome camera shots when it came to like the fighting and everything. And I just say the humor was spot on. It would not be a Guardians of the Galaxy movie without that sort of humor and laughter to it, and also just the emotion behind it. This movie definitely had the feeling of family. This is what this movie really proved to me, that this movie was all about family, and it was, because the Guardians, they are a family. And it was really good to see Marvel pretty much send them off peacefully. and it was really, really good. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was absolutely amazing. Definitely was a favorite of mine this year. Alright, so number 7 is Saw 10. Yes, I really loved this movie. It was so good to see John Kramer come back as Jigsaw with Tobin Bell, obviously. So the Saw franchise. So I'm a really big fan of the Saw franchise. I really do enjoy these movies a lot, and it was so good to see them come back with, I can't believe, a 10th installment into this franchise. But it was really good to see more about John Kramer's backstory, about him suffering with his cancer, and it was really, really good to see how he portrays the role of John Kramer, and it was really cool to see how he pretty much got set up and pretty much gave the people that did him wrong bad karma, and you can pretty much know the outlook of what happened in the movie, because I'm sure a lot of people will have seen it, so like you get their idea. But I thought this movie was really, really good, really, really strong performance in this movie. I loved the traps and everything like that, because it wouldn't be Saw without the traps. Like, it just wouldn't. But it was really good to see that brutality side of John Kramer again, you know, just torturing people and stuff like that, because, you know, that's what a lot of horror fans like myself and the community love, and it was really, really good to see him come back. And it was also good to see another surprise a surprise appearance in the movie, which I ain't gonna say, because if no one has seen it and someone watches this video, so I ain't gonna say. But yeah, Saw I thought was really, really good, and I can't wait for the new one to come out, Saw 11 in 2024, so that's gonna be awesome. Alright, so number 6 we have John Wick 4. Yes, John Wick. This movie is action-packed, like just purely action-packed. It's non-stop. It's literally like a full adrenaline movie, just with gunfire and fighting, and just Keanu Reeves just kicking ass, and just honestly, the camera work in this film is nothing like I've ever seen in any action movie in my life. Honestly, the camera work in this movie is just mind-blowing, and I saw this on the big screen, and I'm really, really glad that I did. And it was just so good to see Keanu Reeves reprise his role as John Wick, because you know, because like the trilogy that like we've had now, he's proven that he is a force to be reckoned with, and he is just ruthless, absolutely relentless as this character. And it was so good to see so many different people that were casted in this movie, especially Donnie Yen. I've actually been following his movies for quite some time, and it was really good to see him actually play a blind person but still use his martial arts and kung fu and everything in this. I thought was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I cannot say anything more about this movie. It is a absolute masterpiece, and I cannot wait to see what is next in store for the John Wick franchise. So, number 5, Oppenheimer. This movie, it is titled correctly on the front. It is a masterpiece. This movie is absolutely fantastic. Christopher Nolan just out of the park, blew me away with this movie. I loved seeing Cillian Murphy casted as the role of Oppenheimer. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I never really followed the story about Oppenheimer, but I learned a lot of stuff from this movie, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing with my own eyes just watching this movie and just getting into it. Wow, Christopher Nolan really proved himself with this movie, and I gotta say, the 4K transfer on this movie is absolutely crisp, and I was so glad that I got to see this in IMAX, and I'm really, really glad that I did, because the special effects in this film are just absolutely mind-blowing. And yeah, I cannot say anything more about this movie. It is a pure masterpiece in its own, and yeah, that is all I can really say. But it's a great film, guys. Really, really great film. Number 4, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant of Mayhem. Yes, I saw this movie 4 times in the same day. I know, crazy. So, the reason why I saw this movie four times in the same day is that I had a lot of excitement for this movie because I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And also shout out to my friend Jamie Powell as well. I know that this is one of his favourite films of this year, so shout out to you, Jamie. But yeah, it was so good to see the Turtles come back again, especially on the big screen. It was so good to see how they actually managed to animate the Turtles and give it that sort of animation feeling to it, and it was so good to pretty much see the 4 brothers come back: Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, and also Donatello. And it was so good to see all the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle villains, but in animation form. I thought, like, I was just losing my mind when I was literally, the kid inside me was going crazy because of how much I loved the Turtles as a kid. But I've got to say, I've got to give a lot of respect to Seth Rogen. He absolutely nailed the direction in this movie. Yes, he was the director of this movie. And I've got to say, the soundtrack was fantastic. The special effects were awesome. The action was pure sauce. Like, it was so good. And I was just on the edge of my seat. And I just had to go see it more and more times. And it was so good to see the Turtles come back. It really was. And I look forward to the second one. I know Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has actually been greenlit for a second film, so I cannot wait to see what Seth Rogen has up his sleeve. So that is going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to see the Turtles return again. So number 3, we have Thanksgiving, directed by Eli Roth. Yes, this movie. Wow, Thanksgiving. So this one pretty much tells the story about John Carver, sorry. So it's set in this town where there's this killer who is wearing a John Carver mask, and he targets these teenagers who pretty much did something wrong, and now they're having to pay the price for it, and it is set on Thanksgiving. So the reason about this movie is that I actually went to for the love of horror, as you probably saw in my vlog that I did. They actually did a preview screening, a special screening of Thanksgiving, but unfortunately I was unable to attend it due to things that were happening at the con. So I actually had to watch it when I had some free time at the cinema, and oh my god, wow. The brutality in this movie, it's literally like Michael Myers meets Ghostface meets Texas Chainsaw, literally just full throttle, honestly. The kills in this movie are brutal, the camera work was awesome, and Eli Roth, man, he knows how to write a horror film. Like, honestly, Eli Roth is the man when it comes to these sort of horrors, and it was so good to see just the brutality behind this movie is literally what had me on the edge of my seat. And that's why that this movie has got a top 3, because it was so good to see a movie that is based around Thanksgiving, because I'm not sure if we've ever had a horror film that was based around this certain holiday, but it was so good, and I give the props to Eli Roth. He absolutely nailed this movie, so if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it, guys. I'll definitely be picking this up when it comes out. Alrighty, coming in at number 2, this movie, I'm so glad that I got to see it on the big screen in IMAX. And I know this movie's been getting a lot of love lately, and I'm one of these people that absolutely adored this film. And that is Godzilla -1. Yes, Big G coming back onto the big screen. But this movie is absolutely relentless. Like, Godzilla, he is a pure menace in this film. He is awesome. This is the side of Godzilla I've always wanted to see. Him just completely just destroying everything in his way. He don't care who he has to go through. He just destroys everything in this film. It was so good to see Godzilla just rampaging, and man, I've got to say that, there's so much that you can say about this film without spoiling it, but it was so good to see the action in this movie, like the camera work, the special effects, to know that this movie was on a $15 million budget and Toho have nailed this out of the park. They definitely gave us kaiju fans something to definitely look forward to, and they delivered 100%. And it was, honestly, I want to see this movie again on the big screen, but I know it's got a limited run currently at the moment. But yeah, I was so glad that I was able to catch this on the big screen when I did, and boy, wow, that is why it is at number 2, guys, because I'm a big Godzilla fan, and this movie was just a pure masterpiece in its own. So I definitely highly recommend this, and I will 100% be picking this up when it comes to physical media. Alright, coming in at number 1. So I think this is no surprise, guys, but yes, my number 1 film of this year was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, because, you know, you guys know how much of a big Spider-Man fan I am. This movie was just everything a Spider-Man fan wanted, like myself, and boy, did Sony Pictures Animation deliver on this movie. Oh my god, literally, I was freaking out in my seat. I actually went dressed as Spider-Man to the screening of Across the Spider-Verse. I went as Mark Bagley, Ultimate Spider-Man from the original comics. But yep, this movie was just, oh my god, like, I was literally freaking out when I saw this film on the big screen. There were so many absolutely amazing moments that are now officially canon to the Spider-Verse. Yes, pretty much the majority of all the Spider-Man movies are now canon in this movie, and honestly, when I was watching this and I was picturing every single thing that was showing on the screen, I was like, oh my god, like, finally it is now been 100% confirmed that all these movies are now officially connected, and it was just amazing to see it. And it was so good to see all different variants of Spider-Man that I have grown up with and that I've read in the comics, that I've collected figures of, and it was so good to see them all make their big screen debut. And boy, if I could relive that night again, I really, really would love to go back to when I saw that film. And I was so happy when it came out onto physical media. I was there day one, first thing in the morning at HMV to pick up the 4K and the Blu-ray and the Steelbook of Across the Spider-Verse. But that is a night I will never forget, and I can still remember that I was surrounded by so many Spider-Man fans who share the same passion and love for the character of Spider-Man like I do. And it was really, really good to see how much this movie had impacted in the Spider-Man community. So that is pretty much my top 10 favorite films of 2023. I really hope you did enjoy my listing. I know it's going to be different to a lot of people, but these are just my own personal favorite films of this year. But I would love to hear what you guys had down as your top 10 movies. Please let me know down in the description. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give this video a massive thumbs up, and don't forget to press that subscribe button and also turn on that notification bell to be notified of all my latest videos. But yes, we are now approaching the end of 2023. It has been an absolutely long journey, but it has been a really, really good one. So thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I really hope you do enjoy this. And yeah, I'll see you all very soon. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility, and also happy Blu-ray hunting. Take care, everybody. Stay blessed, and peace.